maybe another couple. Random cool background there. Right, let's just give a couple more minutes for people to join. Want to make sure everyone gets maximum value out of it. Hi there, just bear with me. Okay, almost there, almost enough people. Some others are messaging me to join. Do please, if you can, have your cameras on throughout the call rather than off, if you can, for most of it, please. Okay, awesome. So let's make a start. I know others are messaging me to come in as we go on, so let's make a start. Can everyone see the screen that I'm sharing? Okay, great. And like I said, if you can, please keep your cameras on. That would be great. Otherwise, I'm just staring into a blank void of faces. And I do like to make this as interactive as possible. I think everyone gets lots more out of it when you're interactive. And so just to introduce myself, my name's Lewa Lawrence. I should have met most of you. I'm the founder of PIGEE. Hopefully today you gain lots of insights and lots of help, and any questions you've had leading up to this point from your experiences so far from going out and doing sales and acquiring clients. Any questions you have, we can get those resolved as well during this quick call. This call is going to go really, really quickly because I'm going to attempt for a start to get through these 10 slides with you really, really quickly as a bit of an overview of what to be looking out for when doing sales. I can really just swap the word sale for acquiring a client because that's what you're really doing in this particular role. So here we are, week 1 of July. I'm going to just burn through these 10 slides with you because I know there's going to be lots of interaction going back and forth between us during this calls. If anyone has any questions, please do just use the raise your hand button. Don't worry, Storm, that's fine. Do raise your hand and I will answer your question. You can raise your hand during these 10 slides, and of course at the end there'll be lots of time for questions as well. So first one we're going to discuss is understanding the tourist market. And we haven't really talked about that in the previous weeks so much, but it's really worth knowing and thinking about. And so you need to understand your ideal customer profile. So far, we've been talking about the ideal client profile, those 4 things that you need to review when you're identifying suitable shops. But let's take a moment to think about your ideal customer profile as well. So when you're on the, and I understand some of you, you won't have had this conversation with me yet, but I'll get you up to speed. When you're doing the second stage of your 2-stage close, your what I call the fishing exercise, and you're speaking to end customers directly, you need to know also, you also don't want to waste your time with the wrong kind of potential customer. Now, if your job is to identify a customer in a shop that is going to likely to do a transaction, you also need to be able to identify that kind of customer as well. Can everyone hear me okay? Is the sound quality okay? I might plug in my microphone instead, my earphones. Yeah, is it fine? Let me just switch this up. Right, I think that's it. Is this better? Is this bit better though? The same? Okay. If it's worse, just let me know if it's worse. But so when you're identifying customers in these stores that you're in during this second stage of the close, the fishing exercise, you do want to identify that. So I'm going to tell you what an ideal customer is. An ideal customer is someone who earns over $80,000 a year, who travels more than once a year, who owns a home, likes to acquire things on their travel which are unique to the regions that they are traveling to, often homewares. They might like to gift family and friends back home. They're someone who a bit of a culture vulture, maybe someone who likes to go to another culture and is impressed by what they see there, wants to bring some of that culture, some of that experience, some of that magic they've experienced whilst they're away back home to their country. So what that isn't is that isn't like a 21-year-old backpacking tourist, is what that isn't. You'll find those kind of tourists are just making quick decisions, buying quick knickknacks here and there wherever they can, but it's cheap, but they're on a budget. They're on a small budget. We're looking. This is for PIGEE is for tourists who are not necessarily luxury tourists, but ones with budget, ones who don't mind spending money. Because the reality is that exporting, shipping products back home to anywhere, especially from thousands of miles away, is expensive. It's just not cheap. During COVID, it got really expensive. It went up by like 5 times during COVID. So also there will be prices will go up and down. Right now, thankfully they're falling quite a lot, which means sales will be easier during this period in time. They've been falling off the back of the Ukraine-Russian war. But ultimately, you want to know that what that means is that the kinds of products that are on sale need to be the kinds of products that attract your ideal customer profile as well. So you have to always think about that when you're looking at which shops to acquire. The other thing to notice is seasonality and trends. If you're in South Africa right now, and everyone's in different countries on this call, if you're in South Africa, you will know this is winter time for you right now. So it's not going to be the peak time of tourism for you. But what that does mean, but there is still tourism, and it does mean you can get the attention of merchants, of shop owners a bit more as well. And you can really use this time to build the fundamentals of your client base during this period of time. Like, you shouldn't be put off and think, oh, it's a bit quiet right now. I'm not doing tons of commission generating sales, but what it is doing for you is it's giving you a bit of extra time with those merchants, those shop owners, those clients, to get it into their head how it works, for them to be comfortable with it, and you'll create a bigger base of foundation of clients who, when it does get busy, suddenly you'll see your earnings shoot through the roof because of those foundations that you've been doing now during the off season. The other thing to know, I'm not sure if anyone is here from Indonesia yet on this call. But the other thing to know is that whenever there is an event in your region that you are, that will bring lots of tourism for a week or two, and that will bring lots of potential commissions for you to create. The people who are in Indonesia, we've got a couple of guys, which I'm sure from the call, from Yogyakarta, which is one of the prime locations that this will work. And people haven't even heard of Yogyakarta outside of Indonesia, outside of Asia often. But because they have a big arts and crafts market based there, and also because they have the MotoGP near to them, which happens every single year. This brings tons and tons of tourists, and FedEx do about 120,000 shipments that week because of it. So, whenever there is an event in your region that happens at a certain time of year, you want to make sure that you've been building a client base that are going to benefit from that. In some regions, it can be house buying money. That can be, if you're set up in that region, when that event happens, you can buy a house at the back of that month if you do it properly, if you do it well, if you're prepared for it. It's a massive thing. It shouldn't be underlooked at all. So I'm not going through this quick enough. I need to go quicker through this. Building value propositions. So, you're always tailoring your solutions to merchant needs, and the only way you can do that is by asking questions. I was saying to someone earlier on, sales is hard, but actually you can make your client do most of the work for you. You don't need to be going in and just be constantly, like I'm doing right now, whittling on and speaking at them, talking at them. If you're in a situation, especially in this particular type of sale, where you are finding yourself as talking at your client for long periods of time, it's not going well. That is not the way this relationship should be happening. It should be them talking at you for long periods of time. It should be them telling you all of their problems. And the way that they feel comfortable to do that is because you ask them the right kind of open questions. Every question you ask them, you're guiding them in a certain direction. You are in control, but you need them to open up to you. And for them to open up to you, A, they need to like you, trust you, build rapport, find you interesting. They need to have some sort of idea of the value proposition of even talking to you. And that can just be, you don't need to be explicit about it. Maybe they're just talking to you because they think you're a potential customer. And that's fine. Just let them think that. And you need to ask them open questions. An open question is a question where the response cannot be a yes or no, a number, a date, a time. And the response to your open question is always them speaking to you in sentences. And so as they're giving you all of these golden nuggets here of information of what their problems are, what their issues are, whether that be they hate having to do commercial invoice, which we discovered, because they get them wrong, things get sent back to them. They don't have adequate payment solutions, which in lots of countries is the case. They're annoyed having to chase up. I know firsthand with FedEx in Indonesia that there was a long issue with FedEx never coming to pick things up properly. We had to resolve that ourselves. They get really tired of these sort of issues. And then we're here, we fix all these things. We make their life much easier. So let them tell you about all their problems. And then you go back to them with PIGEE being the solution. You hardly need to say anything about PIGEE. But when you do say something about PIGEE, you need to be able to highlight your unique selling points. And that means you're able to give back your features and benefits in just one or two sentences. And so what you don't do is that you don't prepare a pitch where your pitch is, okay, well, I've heard your problems, and the solution is that PIGEE is going to do, here's 10 things that PIGEE does. It's not going to work in that way. As soon as they feel that you're selling to them, their back is up, they're defensive, they're not listening anymore, and it's going awry, this whole scenario. Because in reality, you're not even really selling to them. You're joining forces with them, where both of you are selling to their customer. And they need to understand that as soon as possible. You're on the same team as them. When they're doing more sales and making money, you're getting commission for it. And so they need to understand that you're on the same team when you're doing this sale. And so the reason why I say you shouldn't have a prepared pitch on what your solution is because you're listening to their problems, and their problems are going to be different. If whatever they say their problems are, you reply with the same pre-organized response, you're not listening to them. You're not solving their actual problems. And it's really important that you're solving their unique, particular problems. So let's say someone today has said, "Oh yeah, I'm just sick and tired of, I offered to call DHL, to call a delivery company. I call them up, I get a quote, I come back to the customer, and they say, no thanks, sounds expensive." Like, how would they know it's expensive? They've just heard one quote from me. That's the best I can do. They give you a few other pointers. So now I come back and I say, at the end of these 4 or 5 issues they've raised, I don't come back and tell them about, well, the PIGEE app solves these 6 problems. I just want to focus on their problems. I want to come back and say, well, look, I can't believe you're not using PIGEE. It's such a simple application to use. It does all of that for you. Everything you just said, it does it all for you. You don't need to have that hassle at all. The customer just pays, and you get paid a commission for them using it. Someone comes and collects it from you, and it's away. That's it. Just 1 or 2 sentences. Really, really simple. And they understand it the most because you made it specific to them. You were not overselling it to them. You were just being really simple with your response. Let them do the hard work. You're being smart here. You're being clever. The way in which you are asking open questions, you're letting them sell it to themselves. And you're just saying, yeah, you're right. This is the solution for you. That's it. I need to really feed up on this. Effective sales techniques, prospecting and lead generation. That is what you're doing when you do level 2 and you create the 5 leads that go into your HubSpot. And that's what you'll also be doing whenever you're out visiting shop A. You will see shop B next to it, because shops are often in the same, like birds of a feather, they flock together, and often together. If you're in one expensive shop, there'll be others around them as well. So you'll just pop in. You'll be there. You'll pop in next door, see if the shop owner's there, get their business card, scan it onto your HubSpot. You've created another lead. That's great. So you'll see a lot of leads you'll just pick up as a byproduct of you going out and speaking to people all the time. You can, of course, Google whatever else, as well as lots of ways of acquiring leads. What I don't do is I very rarely assign leads to you, because this is a discovery job. This is you discovering the types of shops that I have not thought of and that others have not thought of yet, which may be ideal. Just yesterday, I spoke to someone who blew my mind away because they had thought of a really detailed strategy of what shops they had in their network, and how they were going to do X amount of sales from these shops in this kind of way. We had some really good conversations about it, but it was the kind of shop I hadn't thought about. And so that's why it's for you to discover. You discover the leads, you communicate with them, you ask them questions, and then you start to, you all need to be entrepreneurial people. You start to make things click. Okay, yeah, we can fix that. We can fix this. This will work for that. You can really make things work out by doing it. But it's really important that you not only record leads, but you record your conversations and your notes well in your HubSpot. Otherwise, 100% you'll forget, you become inefficient, and you won't succeed as much. And sometimes you'll miss some really good nuggets by accident. So that initial contact, I've written here, crafting compelling opening pitches in a few sentences, and that goes again. Anything, I shouldn't even use the word pitch. Anything you say to someone should just roll off your tongue in a really casual way. Don't be technical about it. Just let things roll off your tongue in a technical way, in a casual way, where you are highlighting a few, benefits and features to them. But sales is about emotion, being interesting, and creating an emotional response with people, which is why earlier when I said to you, you should be saying to them, oh, well, I can't believe you're not using, you should be using Pigeon. This is what you need to be doing. Me shrugging my shoulders and saying, I can't believe you're not using it. You should be using that. This is what you need from what you just said. It's much more, it's infinitely more powerful than me saying, here's my list of 10 benefits and features, sir. What do you think about this? That's infinitely, a shrug on my shoulders and doing that is much more powerful because they start to think, oh, hold on a second, FOMO, what am I missing out on? Yeah, he's right. Yeah, she's right. This is easier. You know, that is much more powerful than being so technical about things. We're going to do some, hopefully have enough time to do some objection handling later on in this call towards after these sheets end. And the techniques for overcoming common objections and securing initial meetings. Look, securing initial meetings should be child's play because I'm going to explain it to you in a moment. It's just a way in which you leave that first meeting with them will just lead you on to meeting them again. You don't need to say, hey, can I book in a meeting with you? Can I arrange an appointment? Don't need to do that at all. I'm trying to consider, I see it, Tab, I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'm trying to consider what I should explain. I'll explain it to you now quickly. For those who, most of you have heard me say this multiple times, for those of you who are new to your first call, first session here, two-stage close. I'm going to tell you the end of the first stage. The end of the first stage is, okay, so you want to download the app, okay, just download the app. Go to Google Play, iOS, download the app. I'll give you a hand quickly, just to register your store, take you a minute or two. Okay, great, thanks for that. When you're leaving it with them, you are not saying, so look, let's booking a meeting. Let's arrange a time to meet. Do not do that, do not say it like that at all, please. You are just asking them a further question. I know a lot of you have heard me say this many times. You're just saying, when are you busy? When are your busiest days? And they might say, my busiest days on a Wednesday. Okay, great. If I have time, I will come back when you're on that busy day to help you to do some sales using the PIGEE app. They're distracted by that already. They're going to say yes, because A, it's a good idea, and B, they're distracted by that. They're distracted because A, you want to come back on a busy day. Who wants to do that? Normally come back when they've got time and they're quiet. But you want to come back on a busy day, so they're a bit distracted by that. It's odd. Then you're saying, if I have time, because sales is very important to always manage the balance of power. You need to know when you should put the power on their side and when the power should be even, when the power should be on your side. Right now, you're putting the power on your side with that sentence. If I have time, or when I have time, I will come back. You'll put the power on your side. So they're like, oh, okay, thank you. Thanks for willing to come back and help me do some sales here. I appreciate that. If I have time, when I have time, I'll come back on that day and I'll help you do some sales. Okay, great. I'll see you then. Maybe you exchange WhatsApp numbers or whatever it is. And then you come back on that busy day for your second stage, for your fishing exercise to capture their customers with them to use the PIGEE app. And that's how you're securing that meeting with them in an extremely casual way. Everything is all about casual. This is not suits and ties. This is a casual human experience that you're sharing with someone. Tabo, you had your hand up before.
Yes, just in particular, I wanted to ask, when it comes to actually registering a shop on PIGEE, is it compulsory for their pictures to be like listed on? Because it takes 2 minutes to set up, though we need to initially also have a front picture of the store when registering them.
It's good to do a good job with their shop. So if they have a nice shop of their picture of their front of shop, which, you know, this is what the customers are going to see. It's good, and the better it looks, the better. Because what happens? Sure, most customers will just be in the shop, and I won't notice that kind of stuff. They'll be in the shop, but sometimes a customer will just be in the area, and on the app they can search a certain type of product. And if that shop comes up and it looks like a random picture or no picture, then they're less likely to want to go to it. So, you know, it's going to help them do more sales if they have a good a good picture when they're doing their setup. And as you'll know, it's step by step anyway. It's just slide by slide. It's saying name of your shop, what's your address, pictures. It's step by step anyway. So, but yeah, I definitely encourage them to do good pictures, good product pictures as well sometimes.
All right, cool.
Next slide, 4. Right, we're halfway through the session. I'm only in 4. Here we go. Conducting product demonstrations. Again, this is not stand up with a presentation on the screen and go through it all. People don't learn that way, especially when it's very typically non-tech savvy shop owners. They don't learn that way in the way you might learn at university, you might learn at high school. That people don't learn that way very easily. I have found that to do this demonstration, leave the phone in their hand for most of it, and just let them play around with it and ask you questions and direct them where to go when using it. That is what I find to be the best way. If there are some core things they should know, and you can just tell them. You say, look, the great thing about this app is that it switches between you being a customer and being a merchant. When it's got a pink PIGEE button at the bottom, it means you're in merchant mode. If you click here, the 3 lines, and switch it to view as a customer, it switches. It's now got a blue PIGEE button, so you always know which mode you're in. You can flip between the two. Those sort of things, to put them in the right direction. Explain to them when a case study of when a customer comes in the shop, this is how a transaction happens. Customer comes in, they want to buy this particular, they want to buy this. You say, great, how many do you want? You got 1? Okay. You just take a photograph. You press your pink PIGEE button. At the top it says connect. There's a little plus button there. This is for add product. Click that. You take a photograph of the product. You click save. It takes 10 seconds to do. All you're doing is putting in the name of it, its weight and dimensions. That's it. And click save. The customer now wants to pay. They want to pay for this order. To do that, they need to be connected to you. So they have to have the app. And how that needs to be connected to you. There are 3 ways in which they can connect with you. But one of them is it takes no effort at all. The one that takes more effort is, 1, they scan your QR. They scan your QR code that's on your phone, your unique QR code. That's one. The other one is because they're in your shop. When they click on their device on the map, they can see you and they'll just click on you. They're in your shop now virtually. They can just add your product like on any e-commerce store. But the really easy one is the fact that they are in your store with the PIGEE app. It will just tell them, it will say notification, say, hi, it looks like you're in this shop. Do you want to connect? And you just click yes. Bang, that's it. They're already connected to your store. They just add the products. They're now treating you like you're an Amazon store. Add to cart the products they want, click pay. They pay for including shipping. That's it. They go home, they forget about it. That's their job done. The payments are protected. It will get collected by the shipping company tomorrow. The customer does not need to worry about it anymore. It's over for them. That's it. They'll get notifications, updates of its tracking. That's all they need to do. They just need to tell you what to buy, what they want to buy. You list it. Maybe it's already listed because you've listed a bunch of your products. Maybe you don't need to even list it at that moment in time. They just need to connect with you. They just click, yeah, I'm in this shop. Add to cart, pay for it. That's it. Very simple from a customer's perspective. You as a merchant will now get a notification saying, hey, you've got an order. In fact, it will play a little sound of a pigeon, a little pigeon sound it will play. And it'll say, hey, you've got an order. Great. You view what the order is. You already know what the order is. You was right there when they did it. You package it. Maybe you haven't got packaging. What people have been doing is using recycled, the packaging they receive from the supplies when they receive them in, they've just been recycling them and using it that way. Maybe you needed to go out and buy packaging, then you can just add that onto the cost before they do it, add onto the cost of the product. But regardless, you just package it and you click ready for collection. That is now sending a message to all of our shipping partners. They've been alerted. If they have time that day, they will come the same day. Normally you do it before 2 o'clock in the day, they'll come the same day and collect it from you. If not, they'll come the following day. When they come in, they'll call that merchant. They'll say, hey, I've got an order from you. I'm nearby, I'm coming to collect it. and they'll turn up in the shop with their machine. If you have if they have a printer, they can print out the label, but they don't need to. They don't need to do that. They can just show them on their device the label on their device from the order. The delivery guy collecting it will just scan that. Sometimes they don't even do that because it's only one order, one location. They're just like, yeah, we know what it is, it's fine. But they can scan that. They will put their own label on that box, on that order, and they will leave. And as soon as they've scanned it as being collected, that merchant can now withdraw the payment that they received from the customer. That's it. It's really simple. Maybe sometimes the customer doesn't want to receive an online payment because we've been finding in Morocco, for example, lots of merchants don't have bank accounts. We'd prefer it if it went to your bank account because it protects the customer more. But if they don't have a bank account, it can still be done. The customer can just toggle when they're paying for it, don't include the price of the product, and they can just pay directly in cash to the merchant. They will receive a notification saying that, look, you're not protected anymore because until it's collected, because you just paid cash, you can't protect that. But they can do that if they want to do that. And that's really it. You know, you're giving them relevant information to that merchant. Like building relationships and follow up. I always say 50% of this job is identifying suitable stores. 30% of it is building a relationship, is them liking you, them trusting you, them wanting to talk to you in the first place. And you cannot be a prickly character. You cannot have a personality that people do not warm and shine to. You just being a happy, smiley person that's professional and they want to be around you, that is a massively key benefactor in you making this work and earn commission for yourself. So, you know, you've got to establish trust, build rapport, and, you know, just exchanging WhatsApp numbers is a way of having a long-term relationship with them. Put them in your little WhatsApp groups of all of your clients. That's Pigeon as well as another way of doing that. And check in with them. You know, if you've only got 50 clients or 20 clients so far, in your HubSpot, put a reminder. Now, just because they've become active and they're doing 10 sales a week, don't just forget about them. Put a reminder in every third week or so to just go and pop in and show your face. Say, hey, we're still human, we still care. What can I do? What problems have you been having? How can I help? How can I improve? Bring feedback back to us so we can then get our developers as well to improve bits and pieces wherever we can. So don't just disappear, because what happens when you disappear? Someone sooner or later is going to try and get in between you and that service. It's only a matter of time. So, you know, do try and keep that connection going with people. Leveraging customer feedback. Try and also when you're doing that first 2 or 3 sales, try and exchange details with that customer as well. I think I've told a lot of you that a number of stories where customers have received their product, been extremely happy, and they're giving you a list of merchants to go to. It will happen because this is new to people. This will happen all the time to you. Those customers will want to do it again. So you can come to a new shop and say, hey, by the way, I've got I know I've been talking to you about this thing, but I've got a customer for you as well. They highlighted your shop. Here's my messages. They said they want to buy something from you using the PIGEE app. Let's go. Win-win. So do stay in contact with those early customers that you get, because they will bring you more business. Negotiation and closing. Negotiation is a strong word. Closing is a much more important word. But you do need to understand the merchant's perspective, and you are learning their perspective all the time by asking them open questions. And you know, the win-win thing is you need them to understand that, like I said earlier on, you are on the same team. You're not selling them something to take money out of their hand. You're just giving them a solution that will put more money in their hand, and when they win, you win. You're on the same team, and they need to understand that concept, because no one else is really doing that. So they need to understand it in a way that they trust. And so recognizing buying signals. You need to recognize buying signals from their customers when they're looking at certain objects and the faces they're pulling, the expressions they're making. Very few of them actually come to you and say, hey, I would have bought this, but it's too big. They're not going to do that. You need to be able to pick up on the non-verbal communication from people. And also with that merchant, you need to pick up on, look at their face. When you're speaking to someone, look at their face. How are they reacting? Are they, oh, I haven't got time. Or are they, oh, okay, yeah. Listen to the non-verbals that they're giving to you to understand if there are buying signals there. And if they are being really negative, to understand that you might have just caught them on a bad day as well sometimes. You don't need to push. This is not a hard sell, especially with the merchant. This is a bad day, it's fine. So look, I'm a bit busy today. I can see you're busy too. Next time I'm around the area, I'll pop in again and come see how you get on. You don't need to push so hard with that. So sometimes it's just a bad day for them or for you. It's fine. I'm from a background where we always get the sale. It wouldn't matter how bad of a day they're having. I'll come to get the sale, but this is not that kind of sale, fortunately. Leveraging digital tools and resources. I don't want to get too carried away with digital tools because as you get a client base, we're going to give you tons and tons of marketing know-how to be able to keep your client base infused and using the application. We're going to do that with you. If anyone wants any one-on-one sessions going over the web console, just let me know as well. Book a session, we'll do that one-to-one. But with your HubSpot, it's about tracking your interactions. When you interact with someone, track your next meeting, track what key information is relevant, what kind of products they do, what kind of person they are. And you need to figure out who is the boss, who the person to speak to who makes decisions as well. Like not speaking to a shop assistant who can't make any decisions. You need to make sure you speak to the right people, and have that as a client attached to your company in your HubSpot, and make sure that you are communicating with that person, not just someone who's not going to make decisions in that company. Marketing and promotional tools, again, don't get carried away right now. So like in Bali, we've had merchants end up just requesting stuff from you all the time. Merchandise, I've noticed that. We don't need to push things on them. They kind of ask you to look. So it is a shop in Bali, and we have a big roll-up sign outside of it, and it just says, you can send your travel shopping home from this shop. So it's attracting people to their shop who are now thinking, oh, wow, I can just do that from this shop. So there are lots of merchandise which you will get once you have your first client. You'll get all your typical stuff, all of your stickers, your leaflets. This card here, which goes on a lanyard, PIGEE staff, on camera, PIGEE staff. And your pop-ups which go in the shops as well. And they might just have other requests for other merchandise. We're happy to create other merchandise for shops and have it sent to you. I think we might start having some partnerships with some regional printers, people in regions where they just hold on to a bunch of merchandise where you can go and collect it from them soon. So in fact, if you guys, where you happen to be, especially if you're in Cape Town or Johannesburg, if you say, by the way, there's a good printers that I know, just let me know as well. Maybe we'll use that as our base for holding on to merchandise in that region. But it does work a lot. It's really good having merchandise in stores because, as I said to a lot of you before, if you have never heard of PIGEE, which you probably haven't as a customer, as a tourist, you need to have some trust in this service, in this product. So you are much more likely to have less question marks and to do a transaction if, whilst you're walking around that street, that block today, you keep on seeing on the windows next to the Visa and MasterCard stickers, the PIGEE stickers on there. You've been subliminally taking that in, and you're much more likely to trust it and do a transaction. So when you're setting up your client base, it's also good to try and base it in the same area so that you're getting that extra bit of sales help as well. Right, we're almost at the end now of these, which is really good. Case studies and role playing. we do role playing on this call usually, and we'll maybe do some today. Some good things to do with merchants is to give them real life examples and success stories. You don't have any just yet. You just started, and you haven't got any right now. But from speaking to other people and myself, you feel free to just regurgitate stories that I've told you of other people's usage. People might in the WhatsApp group of sales, people seem to be directly messaging me all the time, which is okay, but I keep seeing nuggets which people are missing out on as a whole. So it's good to message in the WhatsApp group as well. And you can use other people's stories sometimes when you're giving example case studies to these shops of how they could be using the Pidgee app. Whether it's about where you are or about another tourist region as well. So practicing sales scenarios to build confidence. We're going to do this in this call a little bit before the call ends. It's really good to do that because it loosens your tongue and gets you really able to handle objections and not being scared of getting objections. Objections are good. So we're going to do a little bit of that at the end of this. Legal and ethical considerations, some strong language there. We're all over when it comes to data privacy. We hired like one of the world's top lawyers. He's one of our advisors, in fact, fortunately. So we are really in control of when it comes to data protection and data regulations with all of our systems. So if anyone ever asks about that, they can go into our site and look at our terms and conditions and see how we've created a whole what's the word? Not a resource, but we created a whole like in our background platform of how we're going to manage data, and it's handled really, really well. Ethical sales practices. Fortunately for you, like I said, this is not hard sales. We're not being pushy at all. You're just making a friend who is a client who you're on the same team as, so you shouldn't really have to suffer that. But you should always be professional, whether it's and if you're speaking to their customers as well, even more professional, even more customers always right, because the last thing you want to do is get into an argument, for example. The last thing you want to do is to get into an argument with someone else's customer. That will go down really badly. So always be professional. Customer is always right, and it will work out fine for you. We are basically done with this slide. None of you missed it all. Questions? Anyone got any? I know I've gone through loads of information here. Does anyone have any questions for me about what we've discussed so far, or any general questions? Yeah. How you doing?
And just when it comes back to how we would go through the shipping process with them, I know mainly like our main value proposition is to deal with international shipments. Though, is there any like due dates as to when we can do like local shipments? As in, if I wanted to get a store and they would mainly have to ship things from Johannesburg to Cape Town.
So a number of people have encouraged me to integrate the courier guys, which if we do, then we can do that immediately. I have emailed them. I don't know anyone there. So if anyone knows any contacts there, to introduce me to a human being, then I can integrate them really quickly, and then we can do that. But just know that like, we like exporting abroad because it's expensive, therefore we make good commission out of it, and it makes good money. Domestic shipping doesn't make a lot of money. It's different. I'm not sure how much domestic shipping is in South Africa, but in Asia it's peanuts. It's not much money at all. So it's not top of our agenda to do that. But if it's a service that needs filling, we can do it. And I think probably that the courier guy company will be a good solution for that, because we're just going to pick up customers that they're missing out on. Anyway, so if anyone does know any contact there, let me know, and I will speak to them and get that done. And that's what will happen. Whether it's them or someone else, it's just integrating with a South African delivery company into our system, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I actually do know someone on that note, and I can get you their contact details by the end of the month.
Okay. Yeah, great. End of the month. Where are they? On holiday?
Yeah, right now they're only going to be back around the 20th. So that's why I was just going to go and get the numbers for WhatsApp and then just contact them.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll
Right.
keep it on board. Any other questions? No? Unusually quiet today.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So look, in that case, we've got 10 more minutes, and I really want to do some interactive stuff here. I know I always do the objection rugby, but I just think it's so good. It just really helps pull out objections and make people realize that you shouldn't be um, uh, put off by giving them objections are good. It means they're listening. It's good. Um, those of you who are on, the cameras are off. If you can turn them on, please turn them on, because I might pick on you to do this. Don't suddenly disappear now because I've asked you to do this. I don't expect you to have all the answers because you're just starting this. It's fine. I just want you to have an answer. If I give you an objection, I just want you to have an answer, even if it's completely wrong and nonsense. It doesn't matter. You know, in sales, you're just trying to survive a bit. You're just trying to always have a response and always have a smile on your face when you have a response. Don't panic. Don't freak out when you receive an objection. And you have to you gain that by practice, by being used to it, by having a bit of a poker face. Sometimes it makes life a lot easier. You can't just suddenly have that skill. So I'm going to pick some people. So some of you are, your cameras are off. I'm still going to pick you. Um, so hopefully you're there. Fami, you're there, aren't you? Are you there, Fami? Fami Ahmed.
If need be, I can also just go first and then we can take it from there.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. So I'm going to give you an objection, and then you could pick someone after that. The objection is um, um, I've got a really good deal with DHL. I know how much they give me a list of how much they charge for shipping. And when a customer comes in, I can just tell them how much it's going to cost immediately, um, give or take a few. So why should I bother using Pidgee for this?
I hear you. And that's great that you already have DHL as one of your customers. And the great thing about PG is that you get to keep DHL along with actually getting a cashback on the purchases that you make through the app.
What do you mean a cashback?
As in, when you actually do get a purchase made through the app, then that actually does help you actually save up on shipping costs as well.
Okay, wow. So I'm going to receive money every time I use Pidgee.
And it's also a thing where you actually get to save on the shipping costs as well. So like I said, you don't even have to leave DHL at all. You can keep them as well with using PG. And the thing is, again, the sign up process is completely free. So in a case like this, you really have like nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, that sounds really good. A good one, Tabo. Do you want to choose someone? Choose one of these faceless people, see if they
Um,
want to put their hand up and come out.
okay. Yeah. I could pick Storm. Are you there? Am I saying
Hi
that
there,
right?
I'm here.
All right. Okay, sure. My objection is, all right, well, this sounds great. I hear everything you're telling me and it's free. I like that. But what's in it for you? I mean, why are you even helping me in the first place?
Well, to be completely upfront, I am just trying to help you make some extra bucks here. At the end of the day, yes, I do earn a bit of commission as well, but that's not why we're doing this. We are doing this to help the customers and help the tourists receive the items purchased. And at the end of the day, it's to make everybody's experience as easy as possible. Like you've said, like you've heard before, you don't have to lose anything. You don't stand to lose anything by joining us. It's completely up to you. At the end of the day, this is only to help you.
All right, I hear you.
Okay. Good one, Storm. Who do you choose
Um, Grantham.
Cool. What's your objection, Storm?
Um, well, I already have someone that does my shipping for me, but they are doing they do the packaging as well. They do wrapping. So I have, for example, I have an art store and they do the packaging for me. They do all my shipping. Is there anything that you guys can offer that they're on?
Okay, well, we usually um we looked at if you do your own packaging, we can also do your packaging for you. So as you say, you already have someone doing that for you. So we could offer that also. And yeah, because it does need to be repackaged. We just need your size and everything. All the details of the products need to be there. And yeah, we can do that for you.
Just to point out, we can't do that for them. Just let him know, but that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I had to say it so you can correct me. Because yeah, it was almost like an indirect question for you also because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I also asked that question so Leroy could just clarify for me. Because
So,
actually I had a client that said that to me in the week, and no, I pitched, and like you said, I wasn't trying to sell them anything. It was just, they said they had this great deal, they do packaging and everything. So I was like, okay, cool, no problem, and moved on.
So the cost of packaging, they can include it in their order. So if there is any, I mean, we like people recycling. To be honest with you, we like people recycling the packaging they've received when they've had orders in. We're trying to help the environment here and have some ESG. So we do like people producing less waste. So that is what we are trying to do. But if they do need packaging, they shouldn't be paying for it. They can include that in their cost of what they're shipping as well. And what I've done is I've tried to avoid saying the words, no, we don't do packaging. Instead of me saying, you should always be saying yes as much as you can do. So I just kind of diverted a bit and said, what's really important is that we should be trying to help the environment a bit. So recycling really helps, and so people often do that instead. But if you have to do packaging, you can do it. you can charge the customer for it, as you should. Tabo, just before I let Grantham choose.
Just one question. You just said you could package it for them as an individual, right? If you want to do packaging for them, no, you can't.
No, we don't. Yes, it's always that. Yeah, the shop has to always. They have to package it. They have to package.
Okay, always.
That's their one,
never exception.
That's their one job. Yeah, we know we're not. Yeah. I mean, unless our partners who they are using do it, and they do sometimes in some areas, FedEx will actually package it. Some delivery companies, they will include in their quote, and they will come with the packaging. They'll do it. So some of them do it in some. I don't. It's not as standard though. It's not as standard. But some,
try to avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, if they do, it's great. But that's they're going to charge you for it. They might say they're not, but they are. They're going to charge you for it.
Yeah.
Tabo, so you had a question.
Yeah, just when it came back to how I handled my objection, I'm not correct in saying that we do ground cashbacks when they make purchases through the app.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we do cashback. So it's 10% of the profit that we make from that order. So it's a little random figure, but in their app, where in their wallet, where it tells them how much money they've got on their balance from the sales they've done, there's another line underneath it, which is for their bonus balance, which shows them all the cashback money they've been making as well. So when they do a withdrawal, it includes that, and they can withdraw that as well. So yeah, it does literally go directly onto their wallet, the cashback. Using it.
Okay.
Storm, you've got your hands up.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to confirm, or basically just ask, which shipping suppliers are PIGEE using at the moment, or basically in South Africa, who are we with?
We use in South Africa FedEx and UPS. In some other regions, we use other companies, but in South Africa, it's FedEx and UPS at the moment. Would love to get courier guys and a few other companies integrated into our system. So again, if you know anyone that you know them directly and you want to introduce them to, and I'll get them integrated as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries. Last minute, any further questions and experiences anyone's had whilst they've been out speaking to people that they want to raise? Any questions or issues they've had they want to raise? They could do some feedback from me. Just let me know quickly.
Sorry, just one more thing. I just wanted to ask, like I said, I spoke to a store yesterday, and they kind of put me through. They wanted to put me through to the head office to tell them about PIGEE, because I was obviously speaking to them in the store, and then they wanted to put me through to head office. Is that a complete necessity? Is that going to be a necessity to speak to?
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, if they're a big shop. So how big was this? How big of a company was this?
So they only have one store based in Cape Town over here. It's one store location, no other stores, and they do have a bit of an online presence. But like I said, every other criteria that would suit PIGEE, they meet. And I just thought, like I said, they'd be perfect. They weren't closed off to the idea. It just sounded like they needed to get information from higher ups. So, like I said, just one store location. It's not an international based store. So, yeah.
So basically, you're saying call the owner is what he was basically saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is the decision maker you need to be speaking to ultimately. The assistant is not going to be making it. In fact, you shouldn't even waste too much time. You should go back down the line with the assistant when you're maybe training them up. You know, with the app, so whoever owns the account can just add staff to it and add assistants to it. So you can always go back to them at some point to train them up. But ultimately, you're going to need the assistant. So that's fine. That's fine. The reason I ask how big it is because if they're a massive chain store, you know, if this is your first client, it's going to be too big a client for you to close. You know, that's how big it is.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
We are at the end, but I can space one more question or feedback or anything. Brandon, you've got the last one.
Okay, so if you do your first sale, what I think you did answer it, but what do you get exactly? Then can you explain a little bit more about that?
Regarding the commissions.
Commission, yes, and then obviously you'll send PIGEE questions.
So regarding commission, I do need to stop using the word sale. It should be your first client because that's what it really is. A client is, you know, an active client is someone who's doing minimum 10 transactions a month, but them just doing their first transaction gets you through the door. And yeah, first of all, you get a merchandise pack. So all of the things I showed you earlier on, you get the pack of what happens. And what I'm trying to do is not to be sending out a package from England to you individually. I've already been introduced to one, to be fair, a couple of local printing companies, and I'll get them to print all the merch that you need, and then you can either collect it or send it to you directly. We'll do that. So yeah, once you're your first client, we'll do that. It will make life easier for you, but it's not going to make it a walk in the park now all of a sudden, but it will make it a bit easier for you having that stuff around you. So you get that. Your first 10, getting to your first 10 clients, it's like a training period. It's not going to make you wealthy. It's a training period. It's you figuring out your personal journey and how you can be most efficient about creating a system that you can duplicate again and again and again. So that's what you're doing during your first 10. I hope you feel confident now, but your confidence level once you've got 10 active clients will be through the roof compared to now. And so when you do come across a big store, you can go and close that big store. When you network amongst some shop owners, you can close all of them in the most efficient way. So, and the reason why I don't have people thinking too big at this stage is you've got those first few shop dinners because you'll just mess it up. It'll just go wrong and it'll be a waste. You'll be upset with yourself because you'll get better. You go, oh, I wish I hadn't done that now. You know what I mean? So I just want to make you as effective as possible. 10 shops. It's only going to make you a couple $100 every month. You've got 10 stores that are making you, well, you might have a really good store do more than that, but on average, it's going to make you like $200 or $300 a month off those 10 shops. It's not life-changing money. But you now can just multiply that, keep multiplying it, get to 100 stores, 200 stores. And I'm saying about the guys I've been speaking to in Yogyakarta, a lot of them have got access to a lot of good stores out there where they just itching to go to get. I think family's one of them on the call now to really go out there and multiply. But I just don't want anyone to rush. Just keep that energy going, keep that learning, keep that focus going. But just get that first client, get that 10 clients. You're a professional now. You're an expert now. You've got all the answers to it now. You've seen it enter in multiple times. Then you can go after these big numbers. Then you can start making the thousands of dollars a month. All good.
Thanks.
No worries. So I think Tab, I saw your message as well. Thank you. I saved that on another screen there. So thanks for that number as well. I'll reach out to them. Guys, WhatsApp groups are there. Anything, just message any experience you're having, drop it in there as well, because it helps everyone else to understand what experience you're having, good or bad, in those groups as well. As you can see, they keep growing. And like I said last week, I really want you guys to start doing a few sales. I am looking for people who are showing leadership, people who are showing some leadership. I really want to create these little silos and little teams that you can run these teams and really start exploding a bit more as well. And we are looking at come into the new year of coming and doing a couple of events as well for PIGEE, some in-person events with sales teams. So we'll be over with you in South Africa. We've already been to Indonesia about 1 million times, but we'll come back to Indonesia as well. And that will be in South Africa a bit more after Christmas as well. Guys, I hope you really enjoyed and found use in this session, and look forward to the next one. We'll speak to you online, I'm sure. Yeah, great. See you next time.